I can tell in my body that there is this energy that's pulsing through, because whenever I am present to such conversations as this morning, there is this energy that surrounds the word wonder for me. There is an eros, or there is a passion of wonder and engaging curiously. And I can even tell, and I'm not sure the words are going to do justice, but there is this quality of care to how I place my attention, how I attend to those words that you just said. And there's a subtle sense somewhere in my heart, lungs, and above my belly right now, which is a quality of, again, it's a word about that energy. It's about an acceptance of what's before me right now, without pushing myself in any artificial way to come up with a solution for anything, but to simply attend to what's before me. And if anything, wonder comes back, not about figuring things out, but more about how I can stay put so that the gift of clarity might arrive. Something you also said about dominant white culture is registering. I think about all of the ways that this spiritual practice for me of being present. So many of you know that for decades, meditation continues to be my dominant spiritual practice. It is at the heart of my faith formation. And meditation is really about awareness and presence. But I want to speak a little bit more about presence. In dominant culture, I know that there is this fragmentation of presence through preoccupation. So oftentimes when I show up, when we all show up, we're already fragmented. We're alienated not only from our body, but even in our heads, our go-to place. We're so fragmented and siloed so that the quality of my presence is already divided. And sometimes they're actually in opposition with one another, and I don't even know that they're in tension with one another. But because preoccupied presence is such the norm, it's actually frightening when we're in the presence of someone whose presence is actually coherent and whole. We feel almost intimidated by that quality of presence in meeting that person. There's another dimension in dominant culture that clouds my presence, and I would call it the way in which I hide behind my persona. It's about impression management. And particularly with racial justice work, I don't want to look like I said the wrong thing. I don't want to look like I don't know what we're doing. So there is impression management that's going on. That's the work of my persona. And it gets in the way of practices of humility and vulnerability and wonder and courage, all of these qualities that I want to be part of presence. I'll mention one third thing in dominant culture, which is there's something frightening, as I said, about this quality of spiritual presence. And especially when I'm engaging in racial justice conversations. I begin to intuit that there is a misalignment of my being and doing, a misalignment between my values and my commitments. And that misalignment often is frightening for me. It points to a lack of integrity or integration of being and doing. And so as I step into this work, the growing holistic sense of my presence also brings with it a sense of apprehension, maybe even fear, and this growing sense of dis-ease and discomfort. Uh-oh, there's some misalignment within KP, and that's going to be difficult to begin to be present to. So I want to end by saying there is something about a quality of presence from my spiritual tradition that says presence is always more global than personality. Presence is almost something that I don't own, individuals don't own. Presence is a dynamic, it's an energy, it's a quality of being together that each of us helps to mediate, but it doesn't belong to any one of us. And when I think about what this work of racial justice and healing and multiculturalism is asking of us, I can't not see how racial justice work and faith formation practice are ultimately interwoven seamlessly. And so how can I not retreat into my small individual personality, but how can I continue to lean into a quality of presence that encompasses and interconnects all of us?